Hi, friends.
Welcome to You, Me, and Them with your hosts,
Jasmine
and Vivian.
We're your bi-weekly podcast diving into the complexities of romance, relationships, and reality.
Get ready to challenge norms,
explore new perspectives,
and embrace the many curveballs life throws at us.
Can we just vibe? Can we just all the time?
Hey everybody, welcome back to You, Me, and Them, and thanks for joining us for our very first episode. It's your girl Jasmine and
I'm Vivian,
my beautiful partner. Thank you all for tuning in and joining us. We are very excited, and honestly the support has kind of been overwhelming, and we feel like there's high expectations and we just don't want to let you guys down. So hopefully this just carries us on this high.
Yeah, and definitely thank you guys for all the support, all the feedback. We're definitely hearing you, and we love everything that you guys have shared with us. And it means a lot to us too.
It really does.
Yeah.
No, it really does.
Yeah, it's a game changer.
It's been making it really like exciting and fun for us too. So thanks.
So, as we mentioned in our pilot, we will be kicking off our podcast with the series on supporting your partner. The relationships are full of ups and downs, new adventures every day. So with this one specifically, we want to talk a little bit about how you support your partner when your pocketbooks need a little TLC.
So we're going to speak to some of our own experiences as well as like with each other. And we're even going to hear from some of you guys because thankfully you guys are interacting with us. But yeah, so we're just going to kick it off with the age-old question, who pays what bills? It's a tired conversation, to be quite honest. But this is my first time being in a women and women relationship and having to like deal with this. So it's new. It's a new dynamic for me to navigate.
So are you saying that like previously in relationships, like you're just like everything's paid for?
No.
Oh. So what do you mean it's a new dynamic for you to deal with?
It's actually, you know what? That's a good question because I feel like my other situations have been non-traditional. Mm-hmm. And I like in the last relationship where I was living with someone, everything was 50-50. Like that was just kind of understood because neither of us were in a position to at all supersede or like fully support one another. So in this situation it's been different because you're someone who like loves to cater and help out financially, and that was a big change for me.
I'm a provider.
She is.
Yeah, you guys, I love a little
you
hair
do,
tie.
Right? No, I'm glad. Like you're catching
that.
It's
crazy. Anyways, I love providing. And actually, I've never been in a situation where I've, been like provided for, like where I've never had somebody like paying all of the bills, and it's just like, oh yeah, I'm just doing what I do, or whatever. Yeah. So I've never been in that situation from my end, but in a relationship, I have been a person who's paid all of the bills. And I think there's been situations in. It was just really one situation, and they needed support, and they were looking for a new job. So I thought, I could jump in and support because thankfully I had the means to do so. But that's really the most experience that I've had with it. I've never been in a situation where it's like, okay, you're paying everything, and then, either you're not working and you're not paying anything or whatever. Yeah. So,
I've been in a situation where, and I would say much more in my younger years, my early 20s or like mid 20s, and I've always had a job. Like I've always had some kind of like steady work with like benefits, a 401k. Like I've always been on my like business like that, and I was on that tip like early, like 18, 19. Like I had my big girl pants on early, and a lot of the people that I was like dating or dealing with weren't, because of schools, sport commitments and things like that, whatever. And just like, putting all of that ahead of like trying to get money in a traditional 9-to-5 like type of job. Yeah. And so like I was always used to having money and needing to like maybe spot someone or like, oh, well, if I want to go out to eat, like I know and understand that I'm paying for the both of us. Like, it's just gonna have to be that way.
Yep.
And sometimes it got to a point where it was like frustrating because for so long I was just, I don't know, I just felt like after a while with one person, there should be some kind of like growth or change, right? And like maybe if we're gaining more income down the road and I'm not having to carry so much of things. And
I feel like that's like the F-boy, and here boy is gender fluid.
True.
I feel like that's like the F-boy playbook though. Like, you know, yeah, like when we go out on dates, whoever wants to go on the date should pay, and then, you know, they never want to go on a date.
True.
Because they never have the money, and it's like,
Facts.
I invited you to come to dinner, so I guess I'm gonna pay, and it just is like that every time because you're the partner who wants to go out and do things.
That is so true, and then resentment can also come from that.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I definitely know that like I started to resent this person in a lot of ways that related to that because they never had money to take me out or buy me things. It just really seemed like they never wanted to like do any of those things for me. And like I felt like when it comes to like the grander scheme, or like if this was a real serious relationship, which it really wasn't, it didn't end up ever getting to that point. But like you would just expect for like growth and things like that, to like plan for stuff like that. And so like things like that never ended up like changing, or I never really saw effort and growth that way. It was just like, damn, I really felt like I wasted a lot of like money and time
and energy and life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is really an interesting question, and it really comes down to like conversation.
That is true.
Like, I feel like you have to always be talking about who does what and how, because like situations change. Like Jasmine and I's situation has changed probably a handful of times since we've been in this relationship.
Yeah.
You know, going into our 3rd year, and we're constantly talking about like how we're going to address our budget, our bills, who's paying what, how much somebody's paying of what, you know, things of that. So, I mean, should we talk a little bit about like how we divvy things up?
I think we should, yeah. Because like when we first started dating, Vivian was easily making like a third more than I was of my salary. Does that make sense? Is that the right way to say that?
30%. Let's just say 30% more.
Right. I'm making this harder than, But Vivian loves to spread her love and her wealth around, you know? And it, for me, was like, just, I wasn't used to like accepting that or wanting someone to like give in that way. And also, let's not take away the fact that like, I feel like generationally and sometimes like financially, things can be done for you and like then held over you.
Yeah.
And so it's like hard for me to like accept things like that, or like being willing to like, I would rather maybe go 50-50 on things, because then it's like more even, or I can't say that this is any more yours than mine, and you can't take that from me, or so on and so forth. Yeah. And so that was like an adjustment. Like she wanted to like fill up my gas for me, and I'm like, you're not even driving my car. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not even something that you're using. And it just, sometimes it would just like put me off, because I'm like, what does she want from me? Like, why are you being so nice and generous with me? And like,
Yeah, it's definitely something to like combat, right? And it is really interesting, especially when you've been with somebody who's like, next week when we get in a fight, I'm gonna hold it over your head, all the things that I do for you. And I put gas in your tank. And you're gonna treat me like this? Damn, did you put gas in my tank because you love me and care about me, or because you wanted to be able to throw it in my face?
Right, because I didn't ask you to do that.
At all. Like I could fill up my own tank, okay? I didn't need you to do that. I didn't ask you to do that. Like, it was offered, right? There's a lot of that when people do for others. It's just an interesting thing to think about.
It's nice to be taken care of, though.
Yeah.
I'm a very well-kept woman.
Yeah, and I mean, like, even now, like, so Jasmine and I have lived together for over a year.
No.
Almost a year, excuse me, sorry. Almost a year. And I mean, pretty much we've split all the bills, like, down the middle.
Yeah. Well, except for the studio.
Except for the studio that we're currently in.
Yeah, the studio is Vivian's. It's something that she had before we got together. But it is something too that like when it comes to our talks about like what we're splitting and what we're doing, she doesn't feel comfortable like really letting me shoulder that or like splitting it with her. And so it's something that we have talked about, but that's her baby.
Yeah. I think if we upgrade to a new space, like that's something that we talk about. But right now she has like literally like a sliver this big for her to do makeup in. So I'm like, I'm taking up all the space with my sewing equipment,
right,
you know?
right?
And then there's this couch that we lounge on, but like, you know, just like, okay, yeah, pay for the space you use, give me $50. Like, come on.
Yeah.
You know, so.
No, for sure.
I think once we expand, like, those are definitely things that we talk about. But again, it's an ever-evolving conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure. Because even when it came down to, like, you needing a new car, her car, like, crapped out on her last year. And it was going to cost way more than it was worth to, like, repair.
Yep.
And we were looking at, you know, she wasn't expecting to have to like refinance and get a new loan on a car and all of this stuff, and knowing, you know, insurance is going to change, your payment's going to change, and so just what does it look like, what can we afford, what kind of like all of that. And that was a very real like adult conversation that we had that I've never had in a relationship before. And so it was like life prepped me for that moment.
Yeah, it's really interesting too, because I mean, I think it was the first really big purchase that we made together.
I think so too.
I mean, we really like sat and talked about like, okay, what is it going to look like, and what's the max that my car payment can be at? And I've never had to have those conversations with anybody because I'm usually just like doing for me, and like I'm not worried about like, okay, like I might have to provide here or there, do X, Y, and Z. It's just like, if I can afford it, I can afford it. You know, and that's something that we've really like touched base on too, is talking about like just purchases in general. But a larger conversation we've had around purchases is even the small things, you know, like just a heads up or some acknowledgement, like, hey, I'm buying this. If it's over $150, that's our random threshold. Like if you're buying something that's over $150, like we just let each other know, not to be like, you can't buy it, but to be like, hey, heads up, you're gonna see something pretty expensive coming in here.
We saw a random like reel, and I think that was what it was $150. Yeah. And like I think I asked you earlier too this year about like, oh, can I get an Ulta gift card? And it wasn't necessarily
credit card.
Credit card, sorry, yes. And it wasn't necessarily like asking for permission. It was just kind of like, hey, would this like make sense, and like can I justify getting this because of how often I'm there, and also just so you know there would be another credit card out there.
I mean, and those things matter when you're going to get your credit pulled for buying a house, which is something that we'll be looking to do in the future. So, you know, it's important for us to be like open and sharing those things and continually talking about finances. Yeah. Should we read some listener feedback on this question?
Let's do it.
All right, start us off with the first one.
Okay, first one. I think it depends on the depth of the relationship and the goals of the two partners. Cohabitation or prenuptial agreement so that everyone is on the same page. This is a very like matter of fact, like I almost feel like this is more of like a marriage type of conversation.
I mean, there's a clear difference between cohabitation and prenuptial, so I'm wondering like, is that something we need? I feel like I need to like figure out what this means. Like,
no, that's so true.
Hold please while I do my Googles.
Because I'm thinking now about like, you know, we've just moved into a new space together, and we now have like a shared couch, our like coffee table, our dining room table. We have this credenza now that we bought together. So like before, it was kind of like just mix and match from our own individual places. And so now we have these things that are together, and it's like, say, God forbid, something happens and we need to separate. It's like...
It would never.
You know, are you taking the couch? Vivian would take the couch. She fought for this couch.
I love that damn couch. That's my couch.
Vivian's taking the couch. I want to take the bed.
Okay.
I'll take the bed.
That's fine. It's Martin's anyway, so.
No, the bed frame.
Okay, you're right.
That's the bed frame.
Whatever.
We just got this bed together.
All right, so a cohabitation agreement is a legal contract between two people who live together but are not married. It defines their rights and responsibilities and what happens to their assets and debts if they separate.
Okay.
It protects your assets. It helps you avoid disputes. and it establishes expectations. So here it's like it can help establish expectations for household duties, property management, and financial support.
Let's do it, because household duties, I got some things for you.
Oh, do we? We're not going to get into that. We're not going to get into that. Not today. Not today, not now.
That's interesting. I can see how that would be super important.
Yeah.
And it's like super tedious and like nitpicky, but I also feel like if like, I don't know, because I feel like you and I are like building things together, it's maybe not so important. But say you were someone who was already very much like well established on your own and like self-made, and then here I come just off the street, brokey. And I'm trying to like marry you and, you know, just make sure that like I'm not marrying you just for like your money or to come in and like, you know, kill you and then get all your life insurance or something.
You watch too much true crime.
Literally.
Yeah, no, I think that's true. And I think we do a good job, like, you know, with the businesses that we are working on together of like making sure we have operating agreements, and, you know, it's as we're building these things together, we're, you know, considering all things that might happen, even though deep down I know you ain't never getting rid of me, baby.
I'm screaming.
Never.
Yeah, I know. I can't remember how long we were dating before I was like, you know, you can't go anywhere, right? Do you remember that?
And now I don't ever stop hearing it. You're gonna die before me? You can't die before me.
Like, wait. I never say that.
She'd be so sad out of nowhere, like,
no, because
you can't die before me, okay?
Okay, but also, well, you can't. You can't. But but also
leave me to suffer.
But also, Vivian doesn't want to like be old and like decrepit and like super dependent on other people, and like, you know, she doesn't want to be rigged up to all kinds of machines and taking all kinds of medicine in order just to like live another week.
One more week.
But anyways,
yeah.
But yeah, no. So anyways, I don't know, what was it, 70? I don't know. I'm just nervous that I have 34 more years with her, and that's it. That's it.
The threshold is, you know, significant quality of life decline. And I'm just like, you know, how much... This is not a conversation for today.
We need to continue.
This is not a conversation for today, okay? Anyways.
Different episode, right?
Cohabitation.
DNR, do you pull the plug?
Oh my God, yeah. That might be... Anyways. Yeah, talking back about cohabitation, I do think like that's a really important thing. Even like prenuptials, it's hard to decide, like, do you do it, do you don't? But like, because when you look at it without really looking at it, it's just like, well, why do you feel like you need to protect yourself from me in our relationship?
For sure. No, right.
And that's a scary thing, being on the other end of a person asking for something like that. Yeah. But at the end of the day, like, it protects not only you, but them.
Well, and also I'm just thinking about like, I don't know, I could be overthinking it, but I'm also thinking too, like, okay, so say in this prenuptial agreement, it's like everything from this date on, like moving forward, is on us and like whatever, you know, but whatever I had before we got together, that's protected forever and will always be mine or whatever. Yeah. And say something happens and we do get bankrupt, but hey, I've got that little nugget back there that I tucked away in our prenuptial agreement that you couldn't touch and you couldn't rob me. Like, I'm not talking about you. You know what I mean? This is a hypothetical. This is not us.
Okay,
you know what I mean? I'm not
some other people.
Yeah, I'm not talking about you, but I'm just saying, like, you know, you're not robbing me dry and ripping me into the ground because now I have this little. I knew what I was doing. I have my nest egg back here.
Yeah, and your own bank account and whatever else you need, right?
Offshore accounts.
Okay. Now we're doing a lot. I don't see. Listen, this is what happens when you date somebody who's obsessed with like true crime and like thrillers and shit like that and stuff like that.
An adrenaline junkie.
All right, let's go through some more of the listener feedback.
All right, we have. All types of support does not need to be 50-50. financial, emotional, etc. It may vary.
Yeah. That's a huge one.
That is a good one because, like, emotional support is huge.
Yeah.
Like, people don't talk about that, and I think dating you, that was something that really just came to the forefront and was always very, like, important and prevalent.
Yep.
And nothing that I ever experienced before. Another one that is related to that said, I paid my girlfriend's portion of the rent and did not tell her for 6 months. And I gave all that I saved to her plus some. So that's nice. That's real
nice.
sweet. That's real sweet. That's something that I could see you doing for, like, your partner, your person.
Someone other than you?
Well, yeah, me, but I...
Okay. I'm like, why you say it so abstract?
That is true.
No, I think that's a really cool thing to do, too. Like, if you can afford it and you can foot it, like... You know, because oftentimes in, like, situations where there's more than one person paying the bills, one person pays.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's really cool to be able to, like, say, like, hey, like, I really wanted to, like, surprise you with this nest egg for your graduation or whatever, you know?
Yeah, that's so true.
And just be able to be like, here you go, let's go on vacation, let's do something. And I think that's super cool.
And sometimes that's a better gift than, like, a bag or
Yes.
Another type of typical, like, romantic gift that someone
Experience
would
me, baby.
Yeah, you're a big experience person.
Me.
But if it's like, hey, I set this money aside for you so that you could do whatever you want with it, whether it is an experience or if it is a bag you want to buy, at least I set this aside for you so you can buy that bag, whatever. Like, that's I like that because it opens up a door for, like, options and choice. And, like,
yeah, for sure.
But that's really sweet because not a lot of people are out here, like, being able to cover both portions of rent. I don't know I can't remember who, like, said this. I don't know where they live, but if it was in Seattle, I gotta know what you do for work. I would love to know.
I would love to know too. And are they hiring?
Right.
Just wondering.
Okay, next one.
Okay, next question.
What do you do when there is sudden job loss or someone just needs a break? Like burnout. Because that's also very real. You don't you don't have to get fired or laid off to need a break.
So I've gotten fired, laid off one time, but I was single at the time. So I've never been in that situation, like, with a person. I have been in that situation twice now, where someone I've been dating seriously has been laid off. One of them I was living with when this happened. And that was an interesting situation because, at the time she didn't want to rush into just another job and just taking whatever. So we kind of talked about it and we were pretty firm on setting, like, a date. Well, she was pretty firm on, like, I just need 3 months, like, so she didn't have to take the first thing that came up if it didn't fit.
Makes sense.
And yeah, I think I would have been comfortable, like, doing longer. I was already paying all the rent at the place before she had ever moved in, so I was like, I can still continue to do that. But she ended up getting a job pretty quickly. Oh, no. And then the other situation is, with you, when you got laid off.
Yeah.
And at that point, we weren't living together yet.
No, we weren't living together yet, but not for lack of trying.
Don't do that. That's not true. Not true.
She wanted to U-Haul everybody.
That's not true. She's such a fucking liar. That's not true.
Let me hold your hand, baby. It's okay. I'm not lying.
Get your hands off of me. No, I'm just kidding.
So, yeah. We weren't living together yet, and I got laid off, and to be quite honest, it was one of those situations where, kind of tying into the question, like, what do you do if someone needs a break? Like, I was at this point with this job where I needed to quit or leave and do something else, or they needed to lay me off or fire me. Like, it was to that point. Like, I just wasn't the employee that I needed to be. The work wasn't it, whatever. And then also my dad was, like, really sick at the time.
Yeah.
And he ended up, like, passing away shortly after me getting laid off. So in a weird, twisted way, it was just like I needed this, like, stop, this moment, this breather to grieve and reevaluate life and things. And you were so supportive from, like, day one. And looking back on it, it's kind of crazy to think about because I didn't do anything. Like, like in hindsight, I would be frustrated as a partner if like Vivian was working from home and I'm sitting there at home alongside her, not working, playing like games on my phone, playing computer games.
The Sims.
Smoking, you know, just like vacation every single day while she's working, you know. So bless her for that. So I was really thankful for Vivian at that time because I really needed that support and that type of like support, and for you to show up for me like that. I was someone who I had never worked less than like 2 or 3 jobs at a time, like always just trying to provide, never really pouring into like my own real, I feel like, interests and like hobbies and things that like make me happy. And it was a very much needed like stop, pause, try to figure out and reevaluate what I needed to do. And she encouraged that and supported that like all the way, and was even willing to like help cover whatever was like needed. And again at this point we had been together for like a while, and it was still something that was uncomfortable for me to like try to think about or accept. It's just like, wow, really? Like you're really gonna show up for me like this?
Yeah, I mean, when she gave me the news, I was like, okay, do you need help with your rent? Like, I can buy groceries, like whatever.
I think I was resistant at first too, because I wanted to be like, no, let me like evaluate everything first to see like what really, if I needed any like help, you know, because I don't want to just also be like, yes, help me, give me money. You want to buy me groceries? Absolutely.
I'm trying to be kept.
Yeah. Also just helping me figure out like, okay, with like Glow by J Monet and like my makeup and stuff, like I now have all this time to like put into this and help nurturing that. You know, you had already invested in my makeup kit at this point, which I didn't have, you know, and that's an expense that at the time that I couldn't afford also. Like she put all that money invested into that because she believed in me, and it was something that I wouldn't have been able to do probably for a while because financially I just couldn't afford to put together a makeup kit.
It was definitely something that I wanted to do, like, you know, and those are the kinds of financial support that sometimes people just need as a push.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like you already have everything you need to be great at what you're doing, but like how can I help you in a way that's not just like, here's the money, you know? It's like, because to be honest, like most people, it's like, oh, if I get money, I'm going to put it towards something I need, not towards something I want. So it was like, okay, I can give you money and be like, here, use this for makeup, whatever. Or I could be like, here's a makeup kit with all the things I think you could possibly need. I think finding different ways to support your partner financially in ways that they'll accept.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you would have accepted me just being like, here's some money.
Yeah, no, true. They're like, what am I going to do with that?
Yeah. So.
But that's where the like emotional ties in with the like financial support as well, because the two honestly like can go together, or like I'm probably going to be more willing to accept financial help if there's a like emotional tie to it, you know?
Yep.
If that makes more sense, because
100%.
There are people in relationships who just feel like they can solve anything, but oh well, here's the money. Let me just write you a check. Like, okay, but no, like sit in this with me and understand why I feel the way that I do about this.
Yep.
And then give me the money to fix it.
And then put the money in my hand, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever been in a situation where you were dating somebody who was laid off?
I've just dated brokeys.
Okay, we're gonna skip that one. Let's get into some listener feedback.
I can't say that, but like, you know, I've definitely, I don't know, I've dated someone in whom it was frustrating because they never really ever had the pressure to like work or need to like keep and hold a job. Their like parent was pretty well off and had no issue like helping them out and taking care of them, you know, but it was also really complicated because like it wasn't like ever for us, you know?
Yeah.
I never reaped the benefits of any of that, you know? It's really weird and complicated. And so yeah, no, I've never been able or like had to do that, but I have been in situations where I've needed to kind of just like maybe step up a little bit more in like a moment. Like,
okay.
Yeah, because like this same person like was going through a period of time where they really didn't have like money, and that particular parent was just kind of like, I mean, if you're not here when I'm going to dinner, then you're not gonna eat dinner.
You're going hungry.
Yeah, and I just was like, I don't feel good about this, and I don't have a lot of money, don't get me wrong, but I could slide some $20, and $20 goes a long ways at McDonald's and Wendy's. And it does. I mean, back then, especially. And yeah, so like I would slide them a couple like bills every now and then, just to like, in case you don't make it back in time for like dinner. It's just, it's just such a weird dynamic, you know, but like, I also can say that sometimes I held that over them too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It was not fun.
One of those.
No, it was it was bad. Like I was saying, in this relationship, there was like some resentment, and so sometimes it was easy to like bring up stuff like that because they wouldn't like do that for me, and I would get in my feelings and mad about it, and that's how I would react, and that's not who I want to be in any kind of relationship, honestly. Yeah.
Let's hear what our listeners had to say.
All right. So again, the question: job loss, or if you need to take a break. We would split everything, but when I need a break from work, my partner will pay everything, and or vice versa, which again is nice. You scratch my back, I'm gonna scratch yours.
Yep.
Like it's
the way it should be.
Exactly. Yeah, that sounds like a very like healthy dynamic.
Yep.
Yeah. Another one. My ex let me quit my job so that I could focus on school full time. He supported us until I was done. That's a good man, Savannah. That is a good man, Savannah.
That's rare, but that's nice. That's really nice.
Yeah. I know that, like, I don't know what it, like, if you got school loans and scholarships and stuff like that, you know, but to be able to fully focus on something like that, I'm sure you were also able to get done with that quicker than if you were trying to balance the two.
Yeah.
So
working full time, tired, exhausted.
Like, he shouldered it for a little bit just so that he could pay off for both of you guys in the long run. Does it
have a gin? Oh,
it
yeah,
does. It does.
I was gonna say, look at her.
Don't worry. No. Because I'm always
here.
I'm always the one that's accidentally like gendering things, and as soon as I saw he supported us, I knew that I could throw he and she around. And then another one is everyone needs rest. Figure out how to best utilize resources between the two and take care.
So that one's an interesting one.
Why do you say that?
Because everyone does need rest.
For
and
sure.
it makes me think about like my current situation right now at work. You know, for those of you who don't know, working a corporate job can be exhausting. I like my job. I love my team that I work with. I just, you know, it's hard to go day by day giving most of your time to a corporation when you'd rather just be creating, you know, and it gets exhausting. It weighs on you. So, you know, hearing that, it just makes me think and wonder, and this is hypothetical, of course, but what would that look like for us if I came to you and I was like, hey, I want to take a leave of absence. It's not paid. I need a month or two for my mental health. What would that look like?
Not paid?
Not paid.
Oh, shit. You know,
I mean, I do have some time saved up, so I could use that.
No.
But, you know.
Listen, you know, I'm going to say, I can't remember verbatim what you would say, but it's something about like, you know, it's going to be tight. We might have to do without some things, but I would like, you know, we'd figure it out. Yeah. And without hesitation, too. Yeah, we figure it out.
I don't know, that not paid sounded a little bit like hesitation to me.
Just no money? No,
I mean, I'd be creating more, so maybe I would be making money in a different way.
No, that is true. That is true. But yeah, no, I think for sure, just because like, again, with like one of the responses is just like, you know, vice versa. You know, you've showed up for me and supported me when I needed to take a break and
of course
and everything, and it's just, it only makes sense for me to like enthusiastically agree to do the same thing. Yeah.
An enthusiastic yes. Let's go.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, brother.
I hate that. No, I don't want to do it.
Whatever.
Okay. Next question. You ready?
Yeah, let's move on to the next one.
Last question. Where do you draw the line in financial support?
I mean, when I think about like how situations and relationships are constantly evolving,
Because that could look like anything.
it could look like anything. I think for me, like, I would have to draw the line if I'm financially supporting somebody, full out paying all the bills. If it's like, I'm supporting you, but I'm not getting any support back. Not financially, but like emotionally, mentally. I think it depends on the situation. Like if you're a stay-at-home partner, you know, and you know, this is something that we talk about, and I'm going out and I'm working every day and I'm paying all the bills, I'm doing X, Y, and Z, and then I gotta come home and I gotta make dinner and I have to clean the kitchen and I have to, you know, do every single thing, and then I have to like make sure I'm like entertaining and going out and doing out X, Y, and Z and doing all these things. Like at some point you're gonna be burnt out and you're gonna be so full of resentment that you just can't anymore and the relationship dies. And I think for me, that's where I draw the line, is like, if it's not like reciprocated in other ways. Money is money, it comes and it goes. I think everyone has ups and downs when you think about money, but I think one thing that you can always do is you can always do your best to support your partner in the way that you can. That's not to say like you're always going to be at your best and you can support 100% every single day, but it's like, I can support you at 50% of my best today. That's all that I've got. Please take it. Know that I love you, but like I'm giving you everything that I can give you today. That doesn't mean I'm giving you everything that I have. I'm giving you everything that I can give you today.
I'm doing the
and
best
I'm supporting you there with what I got. Yeah, so I think for me, that's where I draw the line. I think it's other things that come into play outside of money.
Yeah, I can see that, because I know that like it means a lot that I can help out when it comes to like laundry. Like in the mornings too, like you have to leave earlier now to get to work. And it sucks having to get together like your breakfast and lunch for the day and take care of the dog and brush your teeth and get dressed and like everything that comes with the morning routine. And as someone who doesn't have a traditional 9 to 5, like, I still get up early because I'm just an early riser. But like I'll get up when she does, and since I'm gonna be up anyways, let me try to help out where I can, you know. But yeah, it's just little things like that I know can just make a big difference, and also makes me feel better too, like I'm not just not doing anything or contributing, or like, you know, there are other things that like I do and that I work on, but like I just have more time to do these kinds of things than she does. And after a long day of work, you're right, who wants to have to then worry about taking out the trash and or like the dishes? Okay, so what about on your end? Hypothetically, say you have unlimited funds. Say you have $10 million that you have access to. And I'm your partner. And I'm just like, hey, like, help me fund this. I want to buy this. Let's go here. Let's do that. Where do you draw the line? Well, no is a complete sentence.
Not one that I like.
No, I definitely like, it's hard too, because I am someone who like, if I know that you are like excited about this, you're into it, like I want to fully like indulge that. But of course within reason. I'm just thinking about like with Steve's social house, you know, like if there are things that you need with that, I would absolutely like, sure. You need some fabric?
Got you.
Yeah, you need some fabric? Let's go. But yeah, like if it's something that I know would be a very good like return on investment, you know, like absolutely, and I want to support it. But I would also hate to see like me invest in something for like you in our future that we both know would probably end up just like failing. You know?
Because for sure.
Because that also like you're a reasonable person, you know, and it's like one of those things where it's like, okay, this is a great and fun idea now, but like this is a really expensive hobby, and you might like, what do people say with like horses and like equestrians? Like it's a really expensive hobby. Like
it's really expensive.
Yeah, and like you don't necessarily make a lot of money from it, and it's just something like that where it's like I don't know that that would be worth it in the long run. But if it's something that absolutely like you would make your heart sing and you can see yourself doing for like a long period of time, that to me would be well worth it. I would put all $10 million into it.
Let's go. Write the check.
Yeah.
Let's fucking go. You heard her, all 10 mil.
Oh gosh, okay.
Bands.
Maybe 9.
Okay. Yeah, keep one for yourself. It's fine. Matter of fact, I'll throw you one of mine after you give me the check.
Give me back my money.
Where do our listeners draw the line?
Okay, so we have one here saying, Babe wanted to find a job that matched her moral values and fed her mental health. Okay. It took 1 year.
Okay.
You know, it sounds like you supported them for that 1 year. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think you drew the line, which is great.
Yeah. But that's hard too, because I feel like similarly to where I was talking about with me losing my last job is like moral values and mental health. Like I truly understand putting that stuff first when it comes to a place that you're going to be spending 40 hours minimum a week at. Like, yeah, find something that's going to fit you.
Yeah.
Second one, we always agree on a timeline followed with a plan.
Okay. I think that's important. The plan is important.
Very type A. Yeah, you would say that. I love it. But it is, because what do they say? A goal without a plan is just a dream.
Okay.
Or something like that.
I was thinking failing to plan is planning to fail.
Exactly. All of these things that people say. But I truly do agree that, like, you know, a timeline, especially when it comes to stuff like that, is important, because it's like, okay, we're never ending. Like, okay, you're going to chase this dream for 5 years and be jobless for 5 years. What do we have to show for it?
Except stress and trauma.
I have one last one.
Okay.
Gave my man thousands when he needed it. Never been financially supported by him, though. I just be buying everything all the time. Bad. I need to stop it. I get it. When you're down bad, it's hard to say no.
Yeah, when you're in love and a people pleaser, oh my God. Oh, you like that? I bought this for you because it was blue. And I know you love blue.
Literally. Like,
oh, this is your favorite candy? Here, I got you 10 of them. Like, and that's just little things, right? They need help. They need support.
It to me sounds like this particular person probably needs to draw the line.
Yes.
Financially.
Yes.
I don't think you ever have.
And I think they know that.
Yeah.
You know, bad.
I need to
bad.
stop it. Right.
You do need to stop it.
Naughty.
You know, boundaries are important. You know, within yourself. What are you willing to do?
That is true.
And what are you willing to put forward in relationships when, again, you're not getting that support in other ways?
That is very valid, because just because they're not getting financially supported doesn't necessarily mean that, like, they're not showing up for you in other ways.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm sure there's a reason why, you know, you're still there showing up time and time again. So yeah, that's valid. But that is really tough, because I'm definitely that person that's like, if I got it, I'm absolutely trying to, like, spread that or like share that.
A giver.
You see it, you like it, you want it, you got it. Hey, you want it, you got it. You want, like, for Valentine's Day.
Okay.
Vivian got me this purse. Literally was like, oh, how do you feel about abstract purses or whatever, you know? And I was like, oh, you know, I love them. Like, you see, my friend Mariah literally bought me, like, this shiny disco ball purse for Christmas this year. And we were in the car, and she was trying to be secretive, but it was funny because she, like, hides it, and I can see the reflection on the window. Like, I know I know exactly what she's looking at.
Nosy ass.
And I was like, oh, yes.
Fucking nosy ass.
I was like, yes, I love it. I want it. Yes. And I don't know, it wasn't really confirmed that, like, you were getting it from me or not or whatever, because, like, they were kind of pricey. There was a couple different colors, like, whatever. We just didn't know. And Valentine's Day came, and I got it. It's so cute. I'm going to maybe wear it next episode. Set it right here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, why not?
We'll have a special guest, I guess.
I'm going to accessorize. I'm going to be real cute.
Period. As you should. Although you don't have to try too hard.
Stop. She's flirting with me, guys.
Always. Any left? Any other
No,
feedback?
we're done. I think we're done.
Okay.
Oh, well, actually, no. False alarm, y'all. Because there were a few other responses that we got from people that didn't necessarily align with our questions, but they still stood out and or were kind of funny. So, first one. Oh, this one was a great one. By bringing a third into the mix. Now, I think this was in response to how do you help out financially?
Bring a third into the mix. Now that I can get on board with.
You know, because what I'm thinking, depending on how this is working.
Okay.
If the third is for like everybody, then yes. Because now I'm just imagining a slice of pie, like thirds.
Okay.
But if like this person's coming in, it really could only be benefiting the one person. Actually, you know what? It could be like a trickle-down effect. This one person, the new person, is spoiling one other person, which now you have more money to divulge and bulge and spend on this other person. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, but like the point of the third person isn't to like spoil one of the people. The point of the third person is to like share some of the responsibility.
Period.
We gonna split that rent like a piece of pie, okay?
Screaming.
Write down the thirds.
Another one. Talk about wants versus needs.
Okay.
What your budget is, of course, and like what bills you have to pay. And then prioritize budget-friendly or free activities.
And that's great feedback.
I love that one, which I think we're actually
Poignant.
We're really good at too.
Yeah.
Like we
Well, we act like we're on a budget.
That's not what I was trying to say.
Oh.
What I was going to say was like, we love a good budget-friendly activity or free activity. Shut up. Okay, so it could go either way. Either we're like going all out, you know, we're going on a date, like we're gonna pay for the Uber there. We're gonna have 2 drinks with dinner, not just one. We're each getting 2 drinks.
They're going crazy.
We're having an appetizer and a dessert, okay? Or we're like having a night at home and we're like playing with our conversation cards or like building Legos or playing games and honestly having just as fun if we were out at like a fancy ass restaurant.
Yeah, for sure.
You look like you want to call BS.
No, I think we do a great job of like, oh, this is free or cheap or, you know, easy to access with like things to do and stuff like that. But, you know, we definitely could do better with sticking to our budgets.
Yeah. Yes, I don't disagree there. We absolutely could.
It gets rough sometimes, you know, but we do our best.
You know, because Beyonce just went on tour. Kendrick decided to go on tour. JoJo's on tour. Tyler, the Creator's on tour. So we were kind of going into 2025 beyond our budget. We knew. We knew.
We started that way.
We knew. Another one, I think it all has to do with what said party is responsible for.
Okay.
Now, I'm kind of interpreting this a couple different ways. Mm-hmm. Like I'm thinking, because again, it could be like, you know, again, financially you're responsible for everything, but elsewhere you have to do A, B, C, and D.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking too, like, is it one of those things where, okay, this is what you're responsible for, and I would really love it if I didn't have to like ask or remind you to like do these things. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like if this is all that you're responsible for, I would love it.
Just do it.
Yeah. I would love it if I didn't have to ask you.
You're supposed to pay the Wi-Fi. Why is the Wi-Fi out?
No, literally, right. And lastly, this one I think is the biggest flex of all. I pay no bills. Like we just don't.
We love a kept woman.
I know,
okay.
That's right. Well,
cheers to you. I'm trying to get like you.
Excuse me.
You heard me?
You can't say
I'm
that.
trying to get like you.
Like I'm right here. But no, that is a really big flex. And I know, like, in this situation and in this dynamic, it absolutely is like a 50-50 split. Like, you don't have to pay bills because 100 million, billion, 1,000%, I know you're showing up in other ways. So, yeah.
Well, I think that was a lot of fun, especially including that listener feedback. Let us know if that's something that you like. We'll definitely be prompting you guys and asking for your feedback on these things. I think it makes it more interesting for us to discuss.
I agree.
And I thought it was really cool that overall, most people were of the mind that they would support their partner financially in any way that they needed. And I think that's great because it gives us a good segue into our second episode of Supporting Your Partner, where we talk about how do you support your partner and their ambitions, whether it's in business or life. So come back, meet us here. We'll be talking to you guys about that on March 14th on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts.
Thanks for joining us, and we're looking forward to seeing you guys at our next one. Bye.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of You, Me, and Them.
We appreciate you being here. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
And don't forget to subscribe wherever you watch and listen.
See you next time.